We're live. Welcome everybody back to Planet Hog now. And I am your gracious host, your High Chancellor, Hog. Now, man, as I was getting ready for this here today, I was scrolling through my news feed and just to make sure there wasn't anything more pressing that I should probably address. And I saw that old bitch boy Troy has made an apology. Or not an apology, right? Nobody really apologizes. They just kind of walk it back. So I guess Troy Aikman has walked back his little statement about the flyover, the episode that I covered yesterday. Let me see here. Let me pull up his words. It's just more speak, idle, meaningless speak. Here we go. I love a flyover, but it was odd to see one over a mostly empty stadium. But I'm an unwavering patriot that loves this country. I've always respected our flag, supported the men and women in the armed forces, as well as those in uniform who serve and protect. And for anyone to suggest otherwise doesn't know me, my beliefs, or what I've stood for my entire life. Punctuated with an American flag. All right. You know, well, first of all, I don't know how you can. Well, no, fuck it. I don't know how you call yourself a patriot and then tote Biden Harris, but okay. That's probably another discussion for another day because there are a lot of policies that they support that are diametrically opposed to the idea of patriotism. But okay, that's another day, another discussion, sure. But just on a surface level, I don't know what's more disgusting to me. The people who make these kinds of statements or the fact that they won't stand on their square after they made them and they try to cover them up. Like, there's that saying that the cover-up's always worse than the crime. Well, for me, if you're going to say something bold like that, if you're going to take a bold stance, stand on your square. Take what comes with it. Absolutely take what comes with it. Don't bail out now because you're starting to face a little bit of heat. I mean, if that's what you really meant, then stick with it. Because when you start to waver like that, and immediately the person who comes to mind immediately when I say this is Drew Brees, right? Who said that, I'm always going to stand for the flag. I'm not going to disrespect the flag. And then a couple of his teammates was mad. They got mad at him. Oh, what do you mean going to stand for the flag and Black Lives Matter? And, Drew Brees bowed down, so to speak, figuratively. And, wow. Man, that was a bad look. I just don't understand how you're a man, and I just don't understand. I guess I don't understand the state of manhood these days, to where you'll make a statement like that, but then a couple of tweets, a couple of angry teammates, a couple of people get you to back down and backflip, and I don't get that, man. I really don't. I really don't. So I guess either people need to figure out what the hell they really mean before they say it, or they just need to shut the fuck up because you're not going to stand by it. You're not going to stick to your guns. You got no integrity. You got no convictions. So, just shut up. Just blend. Just shut up and blend. Just get back in. One of my favorite Motorhead songs. Get back in line. Just get back in line. Get back in line. All right. Well, I didn't come to talk to you about all that shit today, ladies and gentlemen. We got more important things to talk about. Actually, I wanted to talk about this particular thing for a while. So there was a little bit because I dabble on the Twitter, right? The Twitter, and that is at Forever Hog for those of you who are brave enough to endeavor into that. But there was a tweet posted by a young lady, a lovely young lady. It's been about a week ago, but like I said, all this other stuff came up, so I just kind of put it on the back burner. But I want to talk about it today. This is a lovely young lady who made this tweet here. It says, quoting her now, "I just want to be a housewife. Keep a clean house, have babies, and greet my husband with a martini at the door." Man. What a beautiful sentiment. And it is crazy. It is insane to me that that has been met with vitriol, that has been met with people's just admonishment, people just talking shit on a woman who aspires to be a great woman. A woman who aspires to fulfill that natural role to the utmost. I don't understand. I don't understand the mentality of someone who would cast aspersions on that, right? But anyway, so I saw this. Of course, I gave this a heart. Absolutely loved this, and I sincerely hope that, and I'd be willing to bet money actually that this young lady finds a good guy. I would be willing to bet this. I'd be willing to put some change on it, right? Because the kind of honesty. Now, granted, I am making an assumption about this person because I only know them through this one tweet. They could be a complete psycho. But let's bar all of that and assume, for the purposes of this, that the rest of her is at least sane, right? Just that sentiment is a beautiful thing to me. First of all, there's freedom in honesty. Let's not kid ourselves. Uh, the the fact that this woman is honest about what she wants, there's freedom in that. There's freedom in anybody who's honest with what they want to do, who they are, whatever. But the other thing that this is, there's clarity in this. There are She has defined her role. He said role. She has defined her role, and simultaneously, she's also defined the role of the man that she wishes to attract. Right? So, and I think that there's clarity in that, man. It's crazy how this whole notion of gender roles has kind of been beaten up, and now it's like if you're someone who supports this idea or subscribes to this notion, there's something wrong with you, right? But that seems to be the overarching theme of whatever this cultural push is on what used to be American society, is to create confusion about everything, right? Confusion in this case about roles. And it's funny to me because, okay, let's talk about anywhere else. Anywhere else in your life, there are clearly defined roles. If you go into business, you go into your job. You have an HR person, right? You have a person that works payroll, and you have I don't know, a floor manager or supervisor, right? Well, they don't all just say, I don't know, I'll just kind of do whatever, and you kind of do whatever. No. The payroll person takes care of paychecks, everything, getting people paid. The floor manager takes care of productivity. The HR person makes everybody miserable, right? Everybody has a role, is the point. Because if they didn't, it'd be chaos. If the floor manager wanted to do HR stuff and the HR person wanted to do payroll because they'd want to be confined by their role, that wouldn't make any sense, would it? But somehow we've accepted it to make perfect sense in something that's arguably much more important than running a business. Okay. So, of course, like I said, this wasn't without its backlash, and I'd like to highlight right now one of the top responses. It's from a male, presumably. First name is Bruce, right? So here we go. This person's response, and I quote, "Dear, please aspire to greater heights, understand your worth, and claim it. Just saying, no offense." With the monocle emoji 3 times after it. What's so funny about this is, number one, uh, it is entirely condescending, right? From the very beginning, dear. Now, in theory, this is a person who believes in the progressive woman, right? Well, isn't I could be wrong, but one of the axioms of the progressive woman is not to be belittled by pet names of men, right? So, okay, that was kind of a contradictory opening, but let's move on. Please aspire to greater heights, understand your worth, and claim it. Who the hell Who the hell is this dude, man? Aspire to greater height. What greater height is there than to be a mother and a good mother and a great wife? What greater height is there? And for all intents and purposes, what greater height is there for a man to be a great father and a great husband? I don't I don't follow the logic here, but it wouldn't surprise me if if old Bruce here, just saying, no offense, wow, if old Bruce here was a male feminist, that would not surprise me at all, right? First of all, if you're a male feminist, then just stop listening. Just stop listening. Uh, if you're a male feminist, man, you've got a lot of problems. You've got a lot of problems. But I think I got you guys' bag because you're really not that hard to figure out, right? Some of you think that's the avenue that's going to get you where you want to go with females. Some of you think that's going to get you. You're just going to kind of backdoor your way in. You're just going to oops and boom, love, right? Okay. I would advise those of you that believe that to refer to the Jim Halpert effect. And I'm going to do part 2 very soon. I promise I'll do part 2 very soon because this kind of speaks to the Jim Halpert effect. This person Bruce here. So, but I also think it's deeper than that, right? So why like I the idea of a male feminist. So you're by that logic, by that direct logic, by the implications of what you tout yourself as, you are anti-male. You're a male that's anti-male. Why? Well, I would say because you probably never fit. You never fit in. You were probably picked on. You probably aren't good at things that are considered male, right? Traditional male things. You probably weren't very athletic. You're probably not very strong. You're probably not very handy. Okay, well, sucks, right? So rather than fix all those things about you, and rather than fix some of those character flaws, it's just easier for you to just try to talk shit on the whole thing and bring the whole thing down. I can't sign on with that, man. I think honestly, with a lot of these male feminists, they're threatened by the idea of having to be a man, right? Much like, so you see these parents that are like fun parents, friend parents, where their kids call them by their first names, and they treat them like, oh, that's my sister, that's not my daughter. Oh, yeah, that's my little brother, that's not my son. Okay, first of all, that's insane. But second of all, I think again, and this ties into the male feminists, the reason why you want to treat your child like that, the reason why you want to try to make your child an equal, the reason why you want to try to mature your child as fast as you can, is so that you don't have to accept responsibility, is so that you actually don't have to mature yourself, right? So by bringing them up, you can remain where you are. You don't actually have to elevate who you are as a person at all. You can make them shoulder some of the responsibilities that you alone are supposed to shoulder. But you don't want to because you're either lazy, incompetent, or probably should not have been a parent to begin with, right? We give licenses for guns. We have used to have a card in order to check out a book from a library. We have licenses for all this other stuff except having kids. Okay. So, again, just like that parent that doesn't want to grow up, so they mature their child, man doesn't want to fulfill traditionally masculine roles. Like, for example, my girl goes out with me. She understands that first and foremost is her protection, right? And I don't like speaking for other people, but I feel pretty comfortable speaking for her in this instance, knowing that yes, she would come if she were awake right now. She would come in here and she would absolutely agree that she doesn't worry about her protection when we're out, right? But take old Bruce here, and he wants to treat you like an equal. That way, when you guys get stuck up, he can scream and hug and hide behind you and pee on himself, and you can't get mad at him because, well, we're equal. Okay, well, good luck with all of that. And when you're When your wife comes in late the following night with her hair tousled, don't ask any questions, right? Just don't ask any questions. So you deal with people like Bruce, right? But the bigger thing are the feminists. The feminists really were chewing this young lady up for espousing her own point of view, which is amazing that people will lash out at you for having a perspective that's different from theirs, but that's a completely different issue. So you got these feminists, right, that were really kind of tearing into her. And that to me is very, very simple. It's a very simple equation. These are, excuse me, in the words of the immortal Frank Reynolds, you got two kinds of people. You got dupers and you got dupies. And that's really what it is to me. And it's not just that. You can apply it to most of the gender identity stuff. You've got the people peddling it and the people buying it. So with these feminists, you got a bunch of women who were probably undesirable in a lot of ways. in a lot of ways. None the least, probably physical. Probably not attractive, right? Paunchy. Just not the pick of the litter. They were always the friend that had to round up the other friends when they went out. I'll put it that way, right? They were always the blocker. Okay, they never scored they were never the one that a guy came over and said, "Hey, let me buy you a drink. Hey, can I talk to you? Hey, you look great tonight." It was actually all of their friends, and they just stood there and watched, and they just got older and bitter and older and bitter. So to the point where there's something obviously wrong with men, right? All of your friends don't seem to have any problems, but it's definitely men. It's not you. Okay. Well, so obviously we all know the adage that misery loves company, right? So what's the point of having this movement unless you can recruit? What's the point of having any movement unless you can recruit other people to it? Well, okay. And there are unfortunately, a lot of younger women who have gone along for this ride. Women who don't necessarily, this isn't your train. You don't want to be on this train. You'll be fine. Just do you. You'll be fine. You don't have to be bitter. These women are bitter for a reason. Unfortunately, for most of them, they won't find that out until it's too late, right? Until they spent the greater portion of their youth upset and angry and confrontational and unpleasant and surly and trying to prove a point, some kind of point. And dudes just pass them over. Okay, see ya. Okay, all right. Because, I don't know if they're aware or not, but there's less of us than there are of you. So that kind of works out in our favor. But again, you have these women who sign on to this, trying to buy back some portion of dignity that they feel that they can get from other people, some portion of self-worth that they feel like they can get from other people. And it's really unfortunate, but to each his own, right? And piggybacking on that, you have something that I've come to refer to as the minority mindset, right? And I know that I'm pretty sure that somebody has already used this phrase or something else, but you know what? Screw them. No, but when I speak of that, the minority mindset, I'm talking about because it applies to every group that's, quote, a minority. Even though I don't understand how women are considered a minority when these same people will say, well, are the first to bring to your attention that there's more of them than us. It's funny how that works. But anyway, the minority mindset is really a system of peer pressure to where people within your subgroup, the minority mindset, as I use the phrase, and define it, is really a mindset. It's really a system of peer pressure to where people within a specific subgroup are able to kind of exert and coerce, pressure, but coerce the opinions, the values, everything of people within that group by sort of employing the true Scotsman fallacy, right? The true Scotsman fallacy of logic, where it's like, well, if you're a real person, if you're really a woman, you would feel this way, or if you're only real black people feel like this. Joe Biden. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. That is the Scotsman fallacy right there. Because in order to be a member of this group, you have to do something. It's a form of coercion, right? So, and that to me is part of the minority mindset. And it's ironic because all of these groups despise being stereotyped by other groups, but they'll impose the stereotypes themselves. Got it. Okay. And it takes a while for people who are not accustomed, right, to thinking for themselves to kind of dispel that horseshit from their life. Because it really, the minority mindset appeals, as far as I'm concerned, to two kinds of people. Stupid people, okay? And again, this is not meant in a disparaging way. I mean stupid in the sense that you're just not intelligent. So you're therefore susceptible to the opinions of someone else who sounds smarter than you. Very well. And then the other kind of person that applies to are cowardly people. People who know better, but they're afraid to step out of the herd and stand on their own. People who are afraid of the perception of the others in that group. So they'll just blend and go along, even if it means sacrificing a part of their destiny, a part of themselves, a part of what they think, whatever. They'll pay that cost in order to fit in, and that's cowardly. So I think those are really the only two kinds of people that applies to. I encourage anyone, obviously, at all times, if you have a differing opinion, please. That's what the comment section is for. But as far as I'm concerned, there's only two kinds of people I can find that are susceptible to the minority mindset. You're either stupid, and genuinely stupid, like you just don't know better. You're not an intelligent person. You therefore are susceptible to the opinions of other people, regardless of how intelligent they actually are. All they have to do is sound more intelligent than you, and you'll just go along with it because you don't know better. Okay, fine. And then the cowards, right? The people who are afraid to stand on their square. The people who are afraid to step out and stand alone. So, anyway, yeah, that was just, I really wanted to get to that because, man, that was a powerful tweet by that young lady. And I'm sure she'll find a great guy behind that. Man, yeah, that's more of that, please. More of that. And to be perfectly honest, full disclosure, my woman's the same exact way. Great girl, love her to death, works really hard. Career woman, so, for the ladies out there, you don't have to sacrifice it. They're not mutually exclusive. You can be a career woman and also be a devoted partner. Because I live with one. As a matter of fact, I don't even know how the hell she does it. But there is a giant burger down there made with steak that she ground by hand by herself. And I'm going to dive all up in that as soon as I get off of this. And I'm probably going to watch a little bit of Bar Rescue. Watch John Taffer shut some bars down. Slap some people around. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, man. That is today's episode of Planet Hog, man. And I'm glad I did this one, man. Because I had really been putting that on the back burner. And I didn't want the trail to go cold. So, but anyhow, let me know what you think, man. If you disagree, obviously that's what the comment section is for. Please, by all means, tell me I'm wrong, but tell me why I'm wrong. Okay, tell me you don't agree, but tell me why you don't agree. Don't just, I think with the Ilhan Omar thing I did, some guy called me a racist. I'm pretty sure he was not American because he said he referred to the USA, and people who live here don't refer to this country as the USA. So, but anyway, that's it, man. Have a great day. Like I said, I'm gonna go dive all up in that burger. Oh, that burger. I'm gonna watch some Bar Rescue. But before we go, one last sip of glory.